Welcome back to Naga Spotlight with me, Tamina Kausji. Moving on to future affairs. Today, we take a look at Sabah and potential for the creative economy. Now, overall, poverty eradication remains high on the national agenda for Malaysia Madani. Meanwhile, Sabah is our fourth-ranked state for two factors: lowest average income as well as highest incidences of poverty. Encouragingly, though, Sabah is predicted to maintain positive economic growth in 2023 at a rate of 5%. This is on par with current global as well as national economic development. So basically, faster economic growth in Sabah will then also ensure more inclusive national recovery and growth. There is also a distinct opportunity for alleviating poverty and promoting economic growth in Sabah through creative economy and innovation. In line with that, the Sabah Creative Economy and Innovation Center, or CENIC, an initiative under the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation Sabah, KSTI, was launched in August 2019. CENIC aims to accelerate industries in Sabah through entrepreneurship, technology, innovation and creativity. I spoke with Vivianti Sarjuni, General Manager with the Sabah Creative Economy and Innovation Center, to catch up with CENIC's latest. Let's watch.
Vivianti, thank you so much for making time for us all the way from Glasgow early in the morning for you. All right, Vivianti, let's get started off. Now, advancing Sabah's creative economy can really help in, of course, improving and uplifting the entire state's economic outlook. Can you tell us a little bit about what are the developments and statistics from 2023 so far?
We in CENIC, we are very excited, especially for 2023. In January, we won a Merit Award for Most Impactful Public Sector in Driving Digital Adoption in Malaysia, and this has really pushed and motivated us to do better in serving our startups in Sabah. To date, our startups in Sabah have managed to get roughly about 5 million ringgit Malaysia of investment from various funding sources, and although the number is not very big compared to what the startups in the peninsula have received, I think it is still a very good number to start with, and this also means opportunity for creation of jobs. We have impacted about 6,000 talents through various programs, collaborated with more than 300 players, not only in Malaysia but internationally. And to date, we have collaborated with 8 countries, the latest one being signing an MOU with a Social Enterprise World Forum headquartered in Glasgow. So we are very hopeful and grateful for this opportunity.
That's some fantastic progress considering we're still so early on in 2023. Vivianti, now CENIC's key thrusts are creative chamber, technology and innovation-driven entrepreneurship. Can you tell me a little bit more about these?
Yes, definitely. So IDE, Innovation-Driven Entrepreneurship, is basically any tech and innovation-related startups, including social enterprises, are parked under this pillar. We see a lot of innovative ideas from the grassroots, and we're very grateful. We already have a few success stories, Tamina, and Kohalal is one of our success stories. Within just 2 years, with the help of federal agencies, Kohalal has been listed as one of the Islamic digital companies, top 45 companies in Malaysia. The second pillar, Creative Chamber, is basically a pillar that looks after creative industries, such as animation, film, culture, and many more. And but our plan for the first 3 years is to just focus on film and animation first. And we have seen some positive impacts. We have basically accredited as the first Tunbum accredited training center in Malaysia, and we have so many requests from local and international animation studios scouting for talents in animation. The last one is technology and innovation. So it's a pillar that focuses on not only discovering and nurturing new technology, but also bringing awareness to the public about trending emerging technologies. In 2022, we launched the first digital and IoT sandbox in Borneo, number 8 in Malaysia, under the National Technology and Innovation Sandbox, NTIS, with the intent to uncover more grassroots innovation that can solve real challenge on the ground. I'd also like to emphasize here that each pillar should not be seen as a silo initiative. We aim to explore how each pillar can develop and interconnect with other pillars rather than remaining as isolated entities.
Mhm. That's right. So it's very interesting that also you have a focus then in the first 3 years for film and animation, which also ensures that you're able to target all the goals that you have in mind.
Absolutely.
Moving along. Now, Scenic also has an ongoing 5-year blueprint, which has identified 13 main strategies, 26 initiatives. Now, of course, this amounts into also a demographic challenges giving Sabah's particular demographics. Tell us a little bit about how Scenic plans to overcome implementation issues.
Sure. So we have segregated our initiatives into short, medium, and long term. Our focus is really to look at the low hanging fruits. What can be done now? What ripple effect can be created immediately? Who can we collaborate it with? Who can we collaborate with? So we can move to the medium and long term initiative, and we continue to measure the impact from time to time to see the progress of our startups, and the blueprint itself. Tamina, is a work in progress. We continue to see if there's any improvement that can be done in the way we do things, knowing the industry is very agile. I know Sabah faces various and unique challenges such as lack of infrastructures, including internet, water, road, as well as challenges in human capital development. However, in my opinion, in some cases, we should not just wait and see. The people must not rely solely on the authorities to solve these issues. Although I know that the authorities must take charge, but if we continue to just wait, things won't move. Therefore, we encourage the public to be entrepreneurial and think about how to build businesses from the angle of solving real world problems, collaborating with authorities, corporates, NGOs, and Scenic role is to really amplify those efforts, providing them with the means to grow their business.
Absolutely, focusing on needs-based issues. Now, moving along from there, Scenic is also focused on building not only talents, but a thriving startup ecosystem so that Sabahan talent doesn't have to leave for economic opportunities. You mentioned those 6,000 talents. Tell us a little bit more about this. Very interesting.
Sure. So brain drain is one of the many things that influence the decision to set up Scenic. I'm scared of this situation as well, and if we don't act now, we might be losing our talents to other countries. And with the opening of Nusantara 2025 just next to us in Borneo, things will only get worse. So there are two things that we really focus on in Scenic, which is the first one, to activate the capacity building initiatives more frequently and strategically funnel these talents to the industry, be it growing startups or commercializing technology, talents, and their skill. And secondly, in order for us to achieve the first strategy, we have created a roadmap for our talents and identify stakeholders that could help accelerate their journey. So the first 2 years, we've taken the steps to collaborate with as many federal agencies as possible. Other than the state government, I'd like to thank Magic, Now Meranti, Yayasan Hasana, Cradle, MTTC, and many more for believing in us and extending their support. And things we do with them is not just a one-time initiative, but focusing on how we can collectively nurture the talents and startups to the next level. So it is an ongoing effort from time to time, Tamina. And for example, the funding from Yayasan Hasana recently has really benefited quite a number of social enterprises in Sabah. And with the fund received, they are able to hire more staff and expand the market outside of Sabah.
It's wonderful to hear that. And Vivianti, I wanted to ask you about what are some trends that you have noticed that set apart Sabah social enterprises in the innovations arena? Because you had also referred to the fact that there's always an encouragement from Scenic side to make sure people are approaching existing problems and issues.
Sure. Okay, so based on my observation from spending time with Sabah's SES, it appears that there is a strong trend among social enterprises in Sabah, especially when it comes to incorporating and promoting the diverse cultural heritage of Sabah. This is not surprising given that Sabah is home to hundreds of ethnic groups, each with their unique customs and tradition. So yes, many social enterprises in Sabah are leveraging this cultural diversity to create products and services that celebrate and showcase the Sabah's cultural heritage. Another thing, Tamina, this is not really a trend, but I think it is really important to highlight that the background of our SE founders is not the same as the backgrounds of SE founders in Kuala Lumpur, for example. I could see a lot of interest from rural areas of Sabah to form their own social enterprise, but they themselves are from the underrepresented communities, and I think they are in a more fragile situation. Why I would like to highlight this is because there is a need to see them from a different perspective. For instance, when curating programs to upskill the SE founders, the approach should be different. Same goes to when it comes to providing funding opportunities. They might not have much to show, but we should be able to see the potential they might be able to create and consider giving them that opportunity. So I'm glad you asked this question, because understanding the demographic of our entrepreneurs is really crucial before we can even plan what's best for them.
Localization and sensitization are key. And one final one, Vivianti. The United Nations has just adopted a resolution on SSE, which is Social and Solidarity Economy. What does this mean for policy development for Sabah's creative economy and innovation?
Personally, to me, Tamina, I believe that any alternative to capitalism, such as social entrepreneurship, social innovation, community wealth building, and this one, the social and solidarity economy, is good. And it also shows that the UN has formally acknowledged the value and potential of SSE in advancing its broader sustainable development agenda. Also, of course, it has the potential to give a positive impact towards the policy development for creative economy and innovation in Sabah by providing a set of guiding principles and best practices for promoting sustainable and inclusive economy development. For example, policies that support the growth of social and cultural enterprises. But the big question after that is, how do we communicate these policies to the grassroots? And it is the responsibility of everyone, especially government entity like us, to act as mediator or the bridge between policymakers and the community. Overall, Tamina, I am pleased with recent developments, as I have just written a short article about exploring the cooperative movement a day ago, which is closely related to SSE. This is certainly a good news for everyone who wants to drive an inclusive economy, particularly in Sabah.
Thank you very much, Vivianti. Once again, pleasure having you here on Niaga Spotlight, sharing a little bit more with us about the startup and innovations ecosystem in Sabah.
Likewise, Tamina. Thank you so much for having me.
Scenic is also adding new talent to the Sabah creative economy landscape. Now, the first batch of 10 students from Scenic's Creative Academy, or SCA, all secured jobs with world-class studios even before the Academy's inaugural graduation ceremony in August 2022. For comparison, the salary scale for fresh graduates and newcomers in the creative industry starts at 1,500 to 2,300 ringgit, and over time it reaches a healthy 8,000 to 10,000 ringgit. Well, that's all we have time for today. This has been Niaga Spotlight with me, Tamina Kausji. We'll see you again next Friday with more business analysis and insights. Here's to a productive week ahead.